Hey, Sci Nation, what's going on? Happy Sunday, good evening. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Got some rest in, just had some time. Enjoy yourselves, either by yourself or with your significant other or family, friends, or your animal friend. Anyway, let's get to it. So, we're going to make this very quick. Don't want to take 30 minutes of your time. What you see in front of you is SPY on the daily, right? So, we have this rising wedge pattern on the bigger time frame, and then we also have a smaller rising wedge that we're looking at. What you can see on this is that we have a gap that was created on Friday's action from 407.27 to 408.68. We have another smaller gap that was not filled from 414 to 415.27. We have this neckline here that I'm looking at that we're either going to break through or reject off of. We do have a gap above this, which is right here is a previous FOMC high. If we break through that, we go to 419.9, almost 420 to about 421.22. So that's what we have. So we did have a two down on Thursday. We gapped up and had two up on Friday. Potentially have a 2-2-2 Randy Jackson to the downside tomorrow, which would have to take out the low, which is pretty much around 4 or something. We'll see exact details of that when we get to the breakdown of a smaller time frame. This is on the weekly time frame right here. I did want you to take note that we did have an outside week last week. We called that out for you. That's how we knew to hit that low of 404 and some change and whatnot. Do want to say that the monthly, we do have a failed two up so far in the monthly, a red month, right? So if this continues to hold in this spot, we are in the beginning of May. June, we would possibly looking for a down month for a 2-2 reversal. We will see. One thing I do want to point out, as part of the strat trading community, in terms of how I incorporate it into my strategy, what you're going to see is a lot of people talk about a Browning formation, right? It's like a megaphone shape. So you're going to see this. A lot of people are probably going to talk about the fact that, we have this Browning formation here, right? They're going to say this is your Browning formation. We have uh, the top trend line and the bottom trend line. So they're going to say that, hey, we bounced off the top, came back down, off the top, came back down. Potentially, I mean, if we're playing the strat, we're going to be looking for a move to the upside here, which would be this gap as well, or this neckline. I apologize, neckline. So just something to keep in mind of, obviously what will happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen this week. Maybe we will see, but we pretty much cleared the hurdle for all the big tech earnings, FOMC, CPI, PCE, etc. Right? Nothing crazy until about Wednesdays when we're going to have more economic data come out. Okay, let's go into the smaller time frame now. We are on the 4 hour time frame, right? I'm zooming in so you can see the details of what I marked out. I didn't want to show this on the daily time frame because it's gonna be very clustered, right? If I do this on daily and I show you what I was showing you before, you're gonna see nothing, right? It's just gonna be too much to see. So, like to zoom in with all the details so you can see what I'm showing you, so you see the gaps, right? I didn't draw a neckline this one, but that's not important right now. So look, we had a massive, massive rally from pretty much Thursday's low from 403 all the way up to 413, right? Incredible run, 10-point run within a day. And so these are the key levels that we're looking at, or key zones as well. So if you have to, pause your screen and mark them off, right? So you have um, the daily low, which is 408.64. We have the 50% for the day, which is 411.18. And we have the day high at 413.72, right? We have the week high, month high, the week 50%, month 50%, and then week and month lows down here. So they all have a reason here. You can see that. Look, we had the monthly low at 403.78, and then we had the week low at 403.74. It's no coincidence that they both pretty much bounce off of one another, right? So that's why I mark off these three major time frames. And here are your main levels, right? So right now, like I said, we have a potential 2-2 down reversal tomorrow. If that's the case, we would have to take out the low. But right now, futures is kind of flat. It is down. Don't get me wrong. It is down from open, but not significant, right? Not yet. If we see futures move down to 41.30, then we have a potential to break that down day tomorrow. But again, this is kind of what we're seeing as of right now for the data. And these are key levels. We are overextended on the 4 hour, so potentially even on a 12 hour overextended. The daily, we're not. The daily, we are, the candles on the cloud. So that's what I'd be looking at. So going into tomorrow, let's see what futures does tonight. But we will take a quick look at ES real quick. I have this drawn out. If you are following me on my tweets, you can see what I am showing you. So what you're seeing is ES tonight's action, right? I've been talking about this down move for this evening. So we have a cup and handle pattern going into tomorrow. We also have this falling wedge. Falling wedge, cup and handle, both breaks upside. I am looking for this potential 41.30, 41.35 bounce. If we don't bounce here, then we're gonna come down to this pivot zone down here, which is 4107.5 to 4118. If that doesn't hold, then we will come down to this 4006 to 4007 76. So just some things to look out for. And then let's kind of look at the VIX and then talk about the quad real quick. So the VIX had a massive 2 down day, right? If you're not familiar with the VIX, it's a volatility index for S&P 500. This has an inverse movement to SPY. So if this goes down, SPY goes up. If this goes up, then SPY comes down. This did a massive down on Friday, therefore SPY rallied. So we do have this potentially falling wedge. If it goes down, that means if this breaks and it comes up to the upside, if it comes up, that means SPY comes down. Potentially for tomorrow, we have a 2-2 up reversal on the VIX, which would mean that SPY comes down. And we were talking about SPY has a 2-2 reversal to the downside. So kind of aligns right now, but we're just gonna see what it does and play accordingly to what the price action gives us tomorrow morning. This zone right here needs to hold for tomorrow, right? So we could see it potentially come down a little bit more to maybe the 15.5 area, and then which would be almost to the bottom of this downward trend line here, and then make a bounce up. So if that's the case, that means SPY would go up, and then at some point in the trading day, it would reverse and come back down. The other thing let's take a look at is let's take a look at Apple, right? This is part of the quad. So I do like Apple for tomorrow. The reason why is because look at the way that it's forming, right? You can say that we have inverse head and shoulders. Here's the shoulders, here's the head, and potentially coming back down. Here, here's your neckline. Just get to do it like a rough sketch, right? Nothing crazy. That's your neckline. The big thing I want to keep a note is Apple had its earnings last week. It obviously beat it, but then tanked and then came back up. But the thing I wanted to point out was we had two things come for us for Apple. And I just tweeted this out maybe like 15 minutes ago why I like this potential short to the downside. One, we have this gap. We have this massive gap, 167 to 171 pretty much. On top of that, you can see that Apple is overextended on the clouds right here, right? Pretty much by, I want to say, what's this, 168.56. And the low of this is pretty much at 170.76. So about 2 point overextension to the downside. So I do like that going to the downside over the course of this week, right? So again, we have this neckline up here. You can even say that this could be potentially our order block right here. So right, we can potentially come up here, reject, and then make our downward trend. So maybe if we don't make the downward movement tomorrow, we'll see an up, and then eventually reject off this and come back down during the mid or end of the week. So if this does come down, this will pull SPY down as well. So it's another confluence for the downside, right? Another thing we want to look at is Microsoft, right? So Microsoft just rallied like crazy, right? Good earnings, and sold off, and then just gapped up. So we do have a gap here again on Microsoft, right? So there's a gap to the downside we need to fill, which has been having nothing but massive rallies, right? We had rally, consolidation, rally. So And we are also at this inverse head and shoulders as well, right? So we can say that, somewhere around here, we're in the order block right now. So here is your, we can say that this is the shoulder, the head, and potentially, consolidate a little bit here more, and then come down into this gap, use it as support, bounce back up, right? If this does come down, that will pull SPY down as well. And the other thing I want to talk about is Google. So Google, same thing, right? Everything's kind of in this consolidation, right? So we have this neckline right here, right? We can say shoulder, head, shoulder. Let's see if we break up. If we don't, then we'll come down. The thing about Google that's very interesting is that we have the golden cross, right? 50. The teal line is the 50-day moving average. The yellow line is the 200-day moving average, right? So we have, aka the infamous golden cross, right? So that technically will signal that we're going to start making an upward movement. Not right away. We might consolidate a little bit, maybe even do a little pullback, and then start to rally. And we can see where the golden cross happened on other equities that we are trading, right? So look, Apple, golden cross happened here, and then what did it do? So on this date, so right here, it came, like I said, after a couple days after it came, have the golden cross happen, came down, and then it just straight up rocket, right? We can look at, I think Google did the same thing, right? Oh no, we are in Google. My apologies. Microsoft, same thing, right? Golden cross right here, and then, like I said, golden cross, initial day golden cross came down, and eventually found support, and then just massive run. And then let's check out Amazon. Amazon's not crossing yet. It is near the 200-day. Amazon's been kind of relatively weak, but again, we have, same kind of pattern. The only thing I would say is that Amazon's a little bit weak. That could potentially pull down, but the fact that you have Microsoft, Google, and Apple looking like they are ready to make a move, temporary move, short term to downside. Everything just seems like it's aligning to have some kind of pullback on SPY, and let's just keep in mind, right? SPY, has made a really really good rally, right? So I would expect some kind of pullback of sorts going to this week, but stay tuned for tomorrow morning. That's when the real game plan comes out in terms of what we're actually looking for that particular day, which will be Monday. Again, I would say go to your screen and mark off all these levels, right? There is a reason, right? We're going to be looking at 410, 6 and 411, 18 as a strong support. That's going to be your support zone, right? Because that's going to be the 50% for the week and the day. And if it breaks that, then it's going to go. And you have the 50% for the month here. So these three areas, right? 409, pretty much 410 to 411. 0.20 is what we're going to be interested in this zone. If it comes down, and we might expect it bounce. If it does not bounce, it come down, take out the low of Friday. So anyway, with that, thank you for taking your time. Like, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, hit the Twitter as well. This is where we're going to put all our content. All right, I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.